What side hustles should you be going with in 2024? That is the question we're going to be answering today. Hello, everybody. My name is Kian, pronounced Key-in. You get it. And today, we are going to be having a little bit of fun, and we are going to be doing a tier list. Now, as you can see, I got this on my iPad right here. Just, show you that this is real time. We're doing everything in the moment. And I am going to be ranking all of these different side hustles and apps with just kind of a general sense of where I would put them in terms of my day-to-day use, how often I actually use them. Spoiler alert, there's only one app that I've been using consistently, and we'll be talking about that one a little bit later. So if you guys are interested, obviously make sure you hit a like on this video. Let's get started. All right, so the categories here, we have Hall of Fame, which is best of the best, cream of the crop. Then we have A tier, which is really good. I highly recommend. Wouldn't be my go-to choice, but you should definitely try it at some point. B tier it might not be the go-to, but maybe there's something special about it in your market. Maybe you should try it, but if you don't, you might not be missing out on too much. C tier I'm struggling to recommend this as is, and if you aren't already incorporating it into your side hustle routine, you're really not missing out. D tier I do not recommend this unless there's some extraordinary perk that it's giving you to your market. And don't bother I don't even know why you have this installed on your phone. So we have a good chunk lineup here, and then I have this bottom lineup, which I've already sorted, which just haven't used because I haven't used them. Now, there's only one real exception here, and that's Postmates, because Postmates is Uber now, or I don't know the whole deal with it, but at some point, Uber acquired Postmates, or Uber Eats acquired Postmates. Don't worry, we'll talk about Uber and Uber Eats as we go down the line. But our first option here is Amazon Flex. Here's the thing about Amazon Flex. This is very, very dependent with your market and how Amazon Flex works for you. I've seen a couple of videos from people doing Amazon Flex. People like your driver Mike have had really negative experiences with Amazon Flex, but the key thing about Amazon Flex is that it is guaranteed consistent pay for the work you're doing, and you already know how much you're gonna make before you even start. For me, I make really good money with Amazon Flex because in my city, Wilmington, Delaware, they have rates of $22 an hour for the routes, and I really like it. I don't like going to Philly. So that's why I haven't been doing it. And to be honest, if there was a way where I could simply just sort out the shifts that take me to Philly, or just block Philly from even being an option for me to go to, this would be Hall of Fame S tier without question. But because they have continuously been giving both myself and my sister, who's doing Amazon Flex as well, Philly routes, I can't put it in Hall of Fame. I'm going to put it in A tier, though. I definitely recommend you check it out in your market, see what rates that they give you, see if you have any local Amazon distribution centers around you. Chances are it's Amazon. You probably do. But that is where I'm going to be putting Amazon Flex. Next up, of course, we have to talk about Doordash. Now, a little bit of backstory, because I'm sure most of you don't know this. I was a full-time Doordash driver exclusively with Doordash for, I would say, the better part of 8 to 10 months. And I didn't really do anything else. I sprinkled it in some other apps, and obviously that's how I got to my main app, which we'll get to. And for me, the biggest part that I don't like about Doordash, and I'm going to be making a video in the future about this very specific topic, so make sure you're subscribed and make sure you have that notifications turned on so you do not miss when I make this video, because it's going to be a pretty insightful video, is the tipping culture. I absolutely hate how I feel when I get a massive tip, or, when I see somebody who's clearly probably not in the ballpark to be tipping or to be ordering off of Doordash at all, and I just feel bad for them, to be honest. There's always just that guilty conscience with Doordash and the tipping culture. Not to mention, a lot of people just don't tip anyways, so you have to sift through it, and all of the the conversations with acceptance rate and everything else. Overall, it's just not the experience I want to be having with a side hustle and a gig app. I don't like that guilty conscience I feel, but it is absolutely dominating the food delivery market. It is easily the most busy and most productive side hustle app when it comes to food delivery. You cannot ignore all of the opportunities that you get with Doordash if you know what you're doing. I'm going to put this in B tier. I don't think it's on the same level as Amazon Flex, and I might get some shit for saying that, and that's perfectly fine, because there are some DoorDash aficionados out there in the world who know exactly what to do and where to do it, And hey, for you, congratulations, make your bag. And I will definitely be doing some videos and tutorials on DoorDash in the future because I have a lot of information I want to share about DoorDash, and I think that I'm in a good position to do it. I just don't like how, I don't know, it just makes me feel icky. It just makes me feel kind of icky when I do DoorDash in comparison to other apps in terms of the tipping culture. Okay, next on the list, GoPuff. I'm not even sure GoPuff is still in business. I do believe it is. I do have the GoPuff driver app. I have attempted one shift and it went terribly. And from across the board, from what I've seen from other content creators, from other people who have done GoPuff, I have not seen a single, oh my god, this is the best thing in the world experience with GoPuff. And I'm surprised, honestly, that they are still in business, if they are. I've heard some rumors that they might be merging with another company, but I don't know. And to be honest, I cannot give this a positive ranking. This is very much, at best, it's a filler app. At worst, I don't even think you should have this on your phone. I'm gonna put this in D tier only because I think there's some redeeming qualities about the way that it can block things to get, you know what, I'm stretching there, don't bother. I don't think GoPuff is worth it. GrubHub. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a hot take, but I'm actually going to be putting GrubHub in B tier alongside DoorDash. Now, yes, I know what a lot of you are going to say. GrubHub does not have the demand that DoorDash does. I know, but I'm not putting GrubHub in B tier because I think standalone it is the best, or it is as good as DoorDash as in terms of making you money, because in a lot of markets, DoorDash is just absolutely going to dominate GrubHub, especially in larger markets. But I think GrubHub is an amazing filler app. It has the same kind of tipping culture that DoorDash does. It's not as egregious. I do think that GrubHub pays a little bit better in terms of the dollars to mile ratio without tips. But I also see significantly better orders from GrubHub all the time. I just don't see as many orders as you would see from something like DoorDash or Uber Eats. And I think that GrubHub is a really good filler app for that reason. If you're going to be doing food delivery, I highly recommend that you have GrubHub downloaded. It might be better for you, it might be worse for you, might get some really good offers, you might get nothing at all, but I definitely recommend at least trying it out because I've had a lot of my best experiences with GrubHub, so that's going to go into B tier for me. Okay, so I guess I should technically put Lyft in haven't used because I'm actually not old enough to drive for Lyft, but I have heard a lot of opinions. I'm in a lot of groups when it comes to drivers who drive for both Uber and Lyft, and if I were to take a guess as to where I would actually put this, this would probably also go in B or C tier for me, from the sounds of it, from other people's experiences. And yes, that is a train going by right now. All right, next on the list is Point Pickup. I'm gonna put Point Pickup also in B tier. Here's the thing, I think that Point Pickup has so much potential. It just needs more demand, and I don't think it's getting it anytime soon. In fact, you know what? I don't think I can put it in the same tier as GrubHub. I think it has to go down a tier by default. I think that Point Pickup is really good for when you get offers. I think that the offers that you get from Point Pickup are really, really good most of the time. And the problem is, it's the same thing with GrubHub, is like, it just doesn't have the demand of something like a DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything like that. You just don't have the same amount of work to actually do with Point Pickup, but it is still your work and your choice. I like Point Pickup, but there just isn't enough demand for it, and there's even less demand for it where I am than there is for GrubHub, so I just can't put it on the same level as GrubHub, but I definitely would recommend checking it out if you have it in your market. Roadie is, I've only had 2 experiences with Roadie, and I have not really liked much of either of them. I think that Roadie is very, very market dependent. I think if you have a market that would be really good for Roadie, like if you're in a very packed market, like you're in, I don't know, you're in Philly, like central Philly, or you're in New York, or you're in like Raleigh, or like you're in a really packed market, maybe like Los Angeles or something, then maybe you could find some really good work with Roadie, but I just don't have anywhere near enough demand that I could actually use Roadie to its full potential. And overall, I feel like Roadie is a bad filler app. I think that Roadie has a lot of work to do, but I don't think it's as bad as GoPuff. I do think that if you have it installed on your phone, it's not the worst thing in the world to have on your phone. Okay, let's talk about Walmart Spark. I have some things to say about Walmart Spark, and I think I need to do another shift review of Walmart Spark, to be honest, in the future. I think I need to get there. Let's see. I'm hovering between C and D. there are some people who have Walmart Spark in A or S tier or Hall of Fame tier. I can't justify that. I have never had like a lights out experience with Walmart Spark in the same way that I've had those experiences with Amazon Flex. I think that Walmart Spark, if you live around Walmarts and the ride makes sense, I think this could be a good filler app, but there are so many obstacles with the pickup and drop off scenarios that not only I have had personally, but I have seen and I've heard. It's just like, it's so time consuming. Walmart expects you to do it their way, not yours. It does not feel like you're working for yourself. It feels like you are working for Walmart, and I can't put it on the same tier as Amazon Flex. And I don't think I can put it on the same tier of Doordash or GrubHub just because of the lack of flexibility. Once you take those shifts, yeah, I think C tier is probably fair. I'll put it at the front of C tier to be fair to it, but I don't see enough use for it. I'm going to put TaskRabbit in B. I think TaskRabbit can be good for you if you have enough demand and also are willing to just put your actual mind into it. Sometimes it takes some mental fortitude, but I like TaskRabbit. I think it's nice. Very much a filler app. I think B tier might be a little generous. I'll probably move it around a little bit later, but yeah, for the time being, I think it's fair. I think B tier is fair for TaskRabbit. All right, finally, let's talk about Uber. And I'm gonna get some shit for this, but I have a very, very specific reason as to where I'm gonna put Uber. I am putting Uber all the way into the Hall of Fame. Uber is my go-to app. It is the app that I make the most money on without question. It beats every other side hustle for a myriad of reasons. Now, here's the thing for me. I have a little bit of a more special reason to like Uber because I drive a Tesla for Uber. Well, I drive a Tesla just in general, but like my main car is a Tesla Model 3, and I absolutely love my car, don't get me wrong. It just gives me a lot of extra perks that it actually unlocks for the rides with Uber. Uber Comfort Electric and Uber Premier. It might be Uber Black in your market. And don't worry, I'm gonna make an entire video about how amazing it is to be an Uber Premier driver in my market because it has legitimately made my life so much easier. I absolutely must put it in the S tier Hall of Fame for that exact reason. My job is significantly easy because of the perks that I unlock with Uber Premier and Uber Comfort Electric. Without those perks, it would probably be an A tier right alongside Amazon Flex because I do think it is better than Doordash and GrubHub. And I think in terms of the money-making potential, I think that it's a little bit better than Amazon Flex, even without Premier and Comfort Electric and Uber Black and whatever else is called in your market. Whilst it could be considered a lot more inconsistent, I like the bigger potential that you get with Uber and Uber Premier specifically. Uber Eats, on the other hand, is not something I can be as generous to. Yeah, Uber Eats, I think I gotta put it in C tier, and that's going at the bottom of C tier too, mind you. Uber Eats is an app, Uber Eats is what I started with when I was starting with Uber in general because I had some issues with like the account working with Uber Rideshare. And Uber Eats, the problem with it is just that at least where I live in my market, I get no good Uber Eats offers at all. Like, it's the exact opposite of GrubHub where the demand is kind of high, like not as high as Doordash, but the offers are all trash. Like they're all $2 base pay offers and they're just not worth it. I want to put it higher because sometimes Uber gives me a surprise, but sometimes that surprise is also getting tip baited, so can't put too much weight into that, can I? And finally, the last item on this list, I'm gonna put some custom ones in the list in a second, is Instacart. I'm gonna put Instacart in B tier ahead of TaskRabbit and behind GrubHub and Doordash. Actually, I'm gonna make a change real quick. I am actually going, I think I talked myself to this. I'm gonna move GrubHub up to A tier. It's definitely like, maybe I need an A and A minus tier, but like it's not on the same level as Amazon Flex for sure. But I do think it is a better app than Doordash in terms of the overall expectations and what you get for it. Like again, if you're doing GrubHub exclusively, you're gonna be pretty disappointed, but I think for what what I've been using it for as a filler app, it does its job perfectly. Instacart would be next in line, in my personal opinion, in terms of a filler app. There are some markets where people absolutely kill it with Instacart, and it can be their only source of income. I am not one of those people, because in my markets, it's been relatively underwhelming that I've worked in, but sometimes I will get an Instacart banger, like a $20 ride for like 2 miles. That's only a few items. And you gotta love those when you get them, but I just don't get them that often. And I can't lean on Instacart exclusively for sure. But yeah, I think that Instacart is good. I think that it's definitely on the same level as DoorDash in terms of what you get for the expectations. It's obviously behind DoorDash because it is a filler app for me, and it's below GrubHub in terms of the filler apps. But yeah, my personal experience, I will put Instacart in B tier. And that is the list. Let's take one final look. So we have Uber in Hall of Fame, Uber rideshare specifically. And again, you know, the Premier and Uber Black options that I get with Uber kind of boosted up to that top spot. And again, it's what I use primarily and almost exclusively nowadays. But if I need something to fill in the slots, Amazon Flex is my first go-to, and sometimes I will do Amazon Flex exclusively because Flex is just that good for that. Because it is the guaranteed income. You know exactly what you're doing, you just don't get to decide where you're going, and that's what's frustrating about it. Otherwise, easily Hall of Fame. GrubHub is next to it, and I think it is by far the best filler app. I don't think it's perfect. I think you are going to have to like test that out on your market, but in terms of an app to make you some side cash here and there, and you want to do food delivery, GrubHub will be my first option. Then DoorDash and B tier, I'm gonna get some criticism for that, I know, but DoorDash, I think it deserves B tier, not only for kind of the unethicalness of DoorDash, but like, I think if you're doing DoorDash full time, you can make it work, but it's just going to be very stressful, and I know because I did for 8 months. And on top of that, I think that it's just not meant to be a filler app, just because of the way that it restricts the zones and everything. It just doesn't work for me. Then Instacart, which I think is perfect exactly where it is. TaskRabbit, yeah, I do think it's better than Walmart Spark. And then you get to C tier with Walmart Spark, Point Pickup, and Uber Eats. I think those are all perfect there. I don't think any of those 3 apps are bad. All 3 of those are market dependent. So again, try it in your market, see if it's available in your market. You know, I would give it a bit of mind consideration, but not before the other apps I've listed. And then Roadie and GoPuff in the bottom at D and essentially F tier, which is don't bother. I think that's exactly where they belong, at least for now. But yeah, guys, that is my tier list. I'll put it up on the screen right now. If I were to add a few extra things to it, I would consider things like investing and things like YouTube and social media as well, like YouTube and TikTok specifically for the earnings side of social medias. I would definitely consider those, and those would both be S tier for me if you can get started. That's what I'm trying to do here with this YouTube channel, in all honesty. And maybe some other side hustles that you can try in terms of doing things on the internet. Another option I would also put here in terms of A tier as a great filler app is Join Brands, which is what I've done a lot of content for. It's essentially just user-generated content where you review other companies' products and you post them on Amazon or your social medias, but that very much depends on your social media following as well. And that's gonna wrap up the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below of where you will put things in your own Uber and side hustle, side gig tier list. And let me know, what would you have in your Hall of Fame? Would it be Uber rideshare as well? Would you have something else? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more videos around the gig economy, make sure you are subscribed, ring that bell so you never miss a new video. We're just getting started here. I'm so excited to be getting a move on with this channel. And with all that said and done, thank you so much for watching, and stay cool.